Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are continuing our conversation about Return to Radiance, the book by Dr. Susan Taylor. My name is Sasha Kelchef-Korn, Community Coordinator. We are so happy to have you join us today. Thank you. And Dr. Susan Taylor, I gave everybody a preview in our last segment of what we were going to talk about today. It's this compelling question that you ask in Return to Radiance. You asked, have you ever noticed how some people seem to resign themselves to fatigue and depression as if it is their natural destiny? And wow, it seems like it, doesn't it? So let's talk about this.
Okay, what I'm getting at there is there's one thing when we say accept what is. Mm-hmm. So if we're feeling depressed or fatigued, anxious, less energy than normal, that's one thing. It's an acceptance. Okay, this is where I am. But we have the power within us. Remember our birthright. We have that power to say, hey, I could change this. Let me work with myself. And that's the whole idea of self-transformation. How can I work with myself so that I can restore my innate vitality, my innate wisdom, restore the knowledge that the knowledge is already there. I shouldn't even use the word restore, but access that. So when I talk about that, many times people say, well, I'm depressed. I'm anxious. Once we identify, I am this, the cells start to respond. Mm-hmm. You see, one of the biggest things the cells respond to is not feeling safe. Safety is what creates anxiety, lack of safety. It's cellular. So if you're not eating correctly, your cells are getting poisoned. They're going to send a signal in your biodirectional pathway from the brain to the gut, and they're going to say, it's not safe. You're going to create an anxious state. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. Or you're going to have an anxious thought come by, or something come by. You might see something out in the universe, and you say, whoa, I hope that doesn't happen to me. If we hear news.
Yes.
That's why you shouldn't eat in front of the news. Because we're built innately to be vigilant with safety because we don't want to die. We don't want to lose our life. That's innate in everyone. It's innate in every living creature. Nothing wants to die. Mm-hmm. So everything's wired for that. So whenever we feel danger, it appears that I'm getting off the subject, but I'm not. Whenever we feel danger, we're going to send signals throughout our body, through our nervous system, that creates a response. So when we say, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm angry, I'm this, I'm, what we do is we put a label on ourselves. And we tell the cells, okay, I have this. So now operate accordingly. It's the same principle. I'm safe. Your cells are going to operate in a calm fashion. If you say I'm not safe, they're going to operate differently. When I've heard people say to me, I'm depressed. I've been there, and I understand depression and anxiety very well. I write about it and teach about it and talk about it because I've experienced it. Mm-hmm. I'm a woman just like every other woman, and we've all had our challenges, and we can also relate to each other very easily that way. That's why when we spoke about the book is for women, it's because in a woman's body, it's a little bit easier to relate to other women.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah. And what happens is we can accept what is, how you're feeling, but don't own it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by when I had said people resign themselves to it. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. If you're going to resign to it, there are people that do that. I'll always be depressed. There's nothing you can do. I just offered some advice to someone just recently. Nope, it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. I'm resigned to that. You have to let that be. Mm-hmm. And we create our destiny. We're the architects of our life. Somewhere along the way, we have a say in what goes on. Now, I'm not talking about infants being born into an environment that's not appropriate. I'm talking about in the balance of the normality of, in regular life.
Right.
We can choose our friendships. We can choose how we operate in life to some degree. Not in every aspect. You know, like when people say, well, I want to choose to have more money, for example. That's not a choice. It's
Right.
You could choose that, then you put all your focus on that and you spend your life doing that. People do take that road. I know people that do that. Other people take a road for something else. That's what I mean. We have choices of how we want to think and operate. And that's what I mean when I say people resign themselves, since I'm writing this book about fatigue, getting the energy and vitality back, overcoming the fear, self-doubt, and fatigue. There are some people that will resign themselves to say, I'm supposed to be that way. It's my age. Now, things do change as we age.
Yes.
Things change after you give birth. You've had a baby.
Yes.
But you work with that. You work with that in a positive way. Nourish yourself to where you need to be nourished. And then that's how it comes back.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so when we resign ourselves, sometimes, you know, we're in this world, it's so fast paced. We're in this climate that once we resigned ourselves, to even consider taking ourselves out of this might seem impossible. You know, do we live in a climate that would encourage and support our ability to return to radiance? Is it possible when you're just thinking of task after task and not even considering how we could get pulled out of this depression or anxiety that we've put ourselves in?
Or that maybe we've fallen into. We could also say
that's
we've
better
fallen
to say,
into.
fallen into.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, that's really an interesting concept there. Remember when I said wherever there's darkness, there's light?
Yes.
Let's look at duality. There's so much going on now with fast pace. It's so evident. It's right there. We don't have to say, what does fast pace mean?
Right.
We don't have to say, what does getting hooked on Facebook mean? Getting hooked on media, getting hooked on everybody knows this now. What does that mean? It's easier to get into radiance now because the contrast is so great that you could step right into it. You almost get thrown into coming back, bringing your mind back home. The thing you have to work with a little bit is revitalizing the body. The physical body takes a little bit longer to come around with, because it takes the mind to direct that. And that's why we teach meditation the way we do. And it's really becoming more, from when I started teaching in 2005, it's becoming more mainstream now because people are saying, wait, I need something now. Yeah. So I think now more than ever, it's time to step into that light. And that light is within you. It's okay to talk about it intellectually, but I'm providing a program that will get you there. That's the difference. Everybody's talking about it. Conscious, light of consciousness, but how do we get there? You have to be in a systematic way, a routine, a plan to start retraining and getting that groove in your mind. You know, like a tire. Remember when you were a kid, you're driving on a road that was a dirt road and it had rained and the tire grooves. Are you too young for that? I don't know.
Not at all.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So that tire groove is like that. The tire just like slips in and you try to get it out, especially you have an infant, but when he starts riding a bike, you want to keep him on that flat pavement. Well, our mind is the same way. We have grooves in our mind. So we want to create a new groove with new habits. Don't try to fix and fill in that old groove. And that's the way. We don't have to resign ourselves to fatigue, depression, anger. Look what happened to me. I didn't get the fair share and all of that. Or look what's happening in our whole environment. And no, we could step out of that. Yes. And that's what this is about. So I laid out a program where people can follow in their capacity and what they choose and what they don't. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to do it this way, but it's laid out for balancing in a holistic paradigm of what we really need to do to get back, reclaim our own radiance and come back to our own vitality and energy. And now's the time. Now it's the most perfect time though, actually, because we're so laden with non-trust. I mean, look at the non-trust that I can't get over how you even hear news. You don't know if you can trust it or not. And most likely you can't trust anything because there's the battle of the egos happening now in the world.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. So let's all step back, train ourselves, use this time to regroup, to build ourselves, build our energy and vitality. Then we're going to step into a new paradigm, and we won't be dying off because we've gotten so fearful, so fatigued, so devitalized by hooking into all the, lots of it is just nonsense that's out there. Political nonsense. Political nonsense is hurting the masses.
It is.
And not even in just our country. It's in any country. Starvation is not an issue of there's not enough food. It's political.
Right.
And so we all know that. And it's your age group that's coming out with causes. We need to have that cause. What are people doing? And how are we moving forward? We want to move forward with the best intent for humanity and all of nature.
Absolutely.
So it's great things are happening now.
Yes.
And I'd love to give people the tools that they could feel that and not worry about it and follow those principles and just grow and just sail through.
Absolutely. Yes. And we have this thought, we want to be better. We want to get better. It starts with us. And you have outlined this beautiful journey, this program to follow, with some flexibility, as we discussed earlier in segments, that people can follow to find that and, get back to that radiance that they may have lost and find themselves, so they're able to go out into the world and make these changes and be a part of these changes and these important causes going forward.
And we all can do it. We can do it together. That's why I haven't been out. I don't do things usually as much publicly. And, the internet thing is your age group and the doing it. But I thought, well, I've been trained a long time and I've been working at this quite a long time. It's time to now serve and really give things that people need that'll be good for them. Not selling things to people, but things that are good for people.
Yes.
Things that will nurture and help people nourish their souls, nourish their minds and bodies, and go out and not in soundbite technology. And that's really my intention. And hopefully I could master that and move forward and provide some service.
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that you have. And to our community, I hope that you will join us on our next segment, because we are going to continue to dive into Return to Radiance. We are going to start to focus on this program and just discuss it, have a beautiful discussion about it, and inspire you to just get involved and pick up your copy of Return to Radiance. I know that you won't promote it, Susan, so I will do it for you. So go ahead on Amazon and just add it to your cart now. I love the book, so I am more than happy to just inspire everybody, encourage everybody else to go out and follow this path, follow this journey. So thank you for continuing this discussion with us, Susan, about your book. It's beautiful, and we really look forward to the next discussion.
Thanks, Sasha.
Okay.